Hello, alchemists! Thanks for joining me, Lonehawk, for this first episode of Road to Mythic in November. Deck tech and gameplay for Magic the Gathering Arena Alchemy Best of 1. We'll go through the deck, take a look at the cards we're using, brief explanation, and then get to the ladder. We'll wrap up with a special thing this time. We've got a preview of some of the cards from Caverns of Ixalan that may go in the deck, and a look forward at what's coming up. With that, let's get to the deck. Alright, well, I have been having a surprising amount of fun with this deck. It came in by request. Thank you so much for the request. I'm doubly grateful for the request because I don't think I would have tried this deck out without it. Let's get into Mono Blue Control the Alchemy way. Key cards in this deck are the Haughty Djinn. That's a star 4, and its power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard, and instants and sorceries cost 1 less. So that is kind of the key to the deck. Getting to turn 4, dropping this, and then having a bunch of cheap counters to have your way with your opponent. Also in the instant and sorcery in your graveyard madness is the Tellurian Terror. It's a common, and it's a 5/5 with Ward 2 for 6 colorless and a blue. But it costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. So all of this is then working together to make that happen. I only have 1 Silver Scrutiny. I was kind of trying out Flow of Knowledge and Silver Scrutiny against each other. They both come in very handy. I like having 1 of each. I should probably decide on one, though. If it's a crafting decision, Flow of Knowledge is the easy one because it's an uncommon. Also in the card draw category, we've got Quick Study, which doesn't look like a great card, but for 1 and a blue, it really is. We've got Curate, an instant that you surveil 2 and draw a card. Good to get an instant into your graveyard. We are using a Wilds of Eldraine Alchemy card, Tome of Gadwick, and this definitely has a place in here. You can drop it on turn 1, so you don't waste your turn 1, and then equip it to whatever flyer or big baddie happens to be swinging for you that round. It's only a 1 mana equip cost. All of the Tome of Gadwick's spellbook are card draw. Like, you've got Ponder, you've got Opt, you've got Consider, which we miss. It would be a good thing. I don't think Fading Hope is in here. No, that's because it's not card draw, it's scry 2. Draw cards, scry 2. Draw 3 cards, and put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Target player mills 2 cards, which you'll be the target player. Draw a card. Sleight of Hand, which is in the current environment. Peek. You know what you're up against after this one. Quicken. This is fairly useless for us, except it draws us a card and puts an instant in our graveyard. And Obsessive Search. Good if you are up against a discard deck, but again, it just puts a card in your graveyard and piece it together, which we actually have in our deck. We only have 2 of them, so this will never go off. It'll never go off to get the extra turn unless you get into a really long game and get a couple from Tome of Gadwick. It's really not there for that. It's just the best card for just drawing a card. You could also run Birthday Escape, which is a 1 mana draw a card, but also has the Ring Tempts You, which might be slightly better, We do have some other tempting in the deck, so that might be something to put in. Sleep-Cursed Faerie we're running because we're going to be running Spell Stutter. It does give you the ability to untap it with a colorless and a blue, which is really handy. We can drop this on turn 1, and then whenever we don't need to counter a spell, we can untap the fairy. Whenever we have extra mana, we can untap the fairy. Also in the fairy department, we've got Faerie Mastermind, which is awesome. It's another one of the things you can do when you don't have to counter a spell. If you've got open mana, you can flash in Faerie Mastermind, and it can give us some card draw. Then in the control department, we've got 4 copies of Glorious Gale, which is our other tempting source. Counter target creature spell if it was a legendary spell that ring tempts you. This is a nice hard counter. It's also a very craftable common. And then it pairs with Negate, counter target non-creature spell. I ran 2 copies of Paths of Tuinvale. This is another Wilds of Eldraine Alchemy card, and you can return a creature you control and or a creature your opponent controls. Creature your opponent control costs 1 more colorless mana to cast, and the creature you control costs 1 less. So it's a great way to save one of your high-value critters, like the Loch-Whale, the Tolarian Terror, and the Haughty Djinn. Then I'm running 3 copies of Spell Stutter. This is a soft counter that gets better with more fairies in play. We don't have a lot, but we have enough. Let's talk about lands. We are running 23 lands. 17 islands. I put in 3 demolition fields. This is to take care of all the creature lands that are out there, so we don't get eaten up by all the restless things that we can't counter. And then we also have 3 Myrics to eat up our extra mana that we're saving for using counterspells. And these are great to drop the Tome of Gadwick on. Again, I've had a great deal of fun with this, and let's get to the gameplay. This might be alright. Not quite sure why I concluded that this might be alright. We can only prevent them from doing non-creature things. Hey, well, there's a creature counter. Could even be tempted. It looks like we're up against control. Yeah, definitely don't want to play the Haughty Djinn until we can protect it with the negates. Yeah, we will counter that. And they had another one that they played main phase. Cool. So next and in turn, they missed a land drop, which is awesome. Yeah, I don't want you doing that either. Oh, I could have played the Haughty Djinn that turn, because it would have opened up. Yeah, we don't really have that either. And now we can bring out the Haughty Djinn, and she is actually respectably sized. Should have tapped that differently, so we had 2 blue up. Yeah, we don't want you to have that either. So yeah, we're drawing all 4 negates against a control deck. Good. We are going to have to find another blue, but I am not convinced I want to mulligan. Not convinced it's worth another card. We would love to see more islands with flow of knowledge there, but we'll assume that they are coming. First little pig we can't really do anything about. Pass to attackers. Yeah, we don't really want to do that either. My turn. Okay. Don't think we want to play Haughty Djinn without being able to protect it. So, next to combat and end turn. Figure we'll play Curate. Then you attack for 2. We're okay with that for the time being. And Contagious Vorak. I don't think we can actually do anything about that anyway. So they do a little ramping. And we will curate. Is that what we want? I think that that's fine. We do need to hit our land drops, and the Haughty Djinns are good. Okay, and next, end turn. Another pig. Glad we don't rely on enchantments too much. We will block. That's fine. And yeah, my turn. Okay, well that's good. We definitely want to do that. We will play that before. And we get another island. And we could do Flow of Knowledge. If we do we want to play another Haughty Djinn? I think so. That should actually stop them, and we can bounce whichever one they target. So that's good. Yeah, let's do that. Do we want to attack? No. Nope, it does not make any sense at this point. What are they thinking here? Well, fairly sure that they have a combat trick here somewhere. But so do we. So, alright. I'll let that resolve. That becomes a 4/4. To damage. Yeah, yeah. We can just return that one. Don't really want to return our Haughty Djinn because it won't take damage. Oh, interesting. Okay. Now, do we wait with the terror? Yeah, I think we no attacks, and in turn we've got the Spell Stutter, which we'll have to be careful with. That does no good against the Truffle Snout. we could, but I don't think it makes any sense to counter that one. And 2 attackers. They are tapped out. Alright, my turn. And I get to draw 4 and discard 2. We'll discard the island, and so we don't see that actually coming into play. We get a negate. Let's get the piece it together. Piece it together to reduce the cost of things. And now, yes, we can play the terror and keep enough for 2 counters. All right, next. They do have the Restless Fortress, no attacks. So we may want to Demolition Field if we don't find anything to counter. I may regret tossing Gadwick's Tome away. So that can definitely accelerate things on getting a huge Haughty Djinn. Though, yeah, another reason that it would be not very effective is the first little pigs could exile it. Looks as though we may have demoralized them. Right, pass, and might as well do this. Destroy that. Take action. Get another demolition field, and I think at this point it makes sense to swing with the Haughty Djinn. Probably just looking at them, seeing their ropes, and them timing out. There they are. And I think we're 2-0 here. Well, this looks pretty darn good. On the play with good land. Not much card draw, but some. We get our 4 lands, which is important. And yeah, we still want to wait until we can protect the Djinn. Pass. We don't want to use that for 1, so my turn. Let's bring out the Faerie. Yes, that makes sense. And not the Djinn. We're planning to untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie later this turn. We will let them pay the ward on it, and then stutter it. Okay, this turn, just still don't want to, well, we could play the Djinn at this point. It's only a 1/4, but it makes our stuff cheaper, and we can pull it back and make it cheaper. So, and we can counter a creature spell. So, lots of good stuff here. The Faerie won't untap. think we want to counter that. We make the Hadijin bigger. Don't let them grab a counter into their hand. We get another Gale. I still don't think we want to untap the Sleep-Cursed Faerie, but we'll attack. And end turn. 6 mana they have now. And we'll let them pay the ward. I think, yeah, we definitely want to remove that. Doesn't get any cheaper to cast, but they do not get to. And let's see, we can play Silver Scrutiny for 2. I think we do want to do that. Yep, get a couple of lands, a Negate, which is very nice. We will swing first. And bring out the Faerie. And end turn. If they don't do anything we want to counter, I'll definitely negate that sucker. And we will untap that. Demolition Field. Do we want to untap it again? I think so. Untap that so we can. Do we do it twice? Then leave the terror for next turn. That's a tough call. I think probably not. May regret this. We do have the whale as backup. They've got 7 lands. We have just had all the answers this game. Might as well make the good game. All right. Looks all right. Yep. Rakdos Goblin. Rakdos Goblin over here, I mean. Looks like we have Boros in front of us. Perhaps some sort of control matchup? Or just that I think is okay. Got Melt Through and got Restless Bivouac out there. 2 to the face. Let's see. And pass to attackers. And I will cure it. Oh. Interesting. Okay. They run Reprieve. Do we want to... Yeah. They don't have a green out yet. Yeah, I don't really want you doing that. Especially if you are... We do not want to miss this land drop. So, is it curate time? I think so. They know we have curate. That is just fine. We want the Spell Stutter. Get that. And I think get the Sleep-Cursed Faerie out. They get a... Yep, they can get the... They get Faerie Inscription down. We did not have a counter for it anyway. Let's see. Do we want the Haughty Djinn at this point? I think so. Can't do the quick study. Do we want the quick study? Oh, we could do the curate. I think that's probably worth doing. There we go. That's good. Play the Mirax. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get lit up this turn. It was worth the risk. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go pretty quickly now. They do have a reprieve open. Only take the lightning strike and take us down to 11. Okay, we do have the Spell Stutter open now. Do we want to quick study to try and hit our land drop? Or piece it together? Let's try piece it together. See what we get. Terror, that's pretty good. Is that worth doing right now? Or do we want a quick study? We only have the one Spell Stutter, so yeah, let's do that. Hit the land drop. Another piece it together. We only have the one. There we go. And terror next turn. Down to 6. Down to 1. Wow, okay. Mastermind here? This is not looking good. They lose the... Use that, well, untap that. And next, yeah, we can do 11, but that is all we can do. You can play the Tolarian Terror. just a matter of can they get things through. Oh, it's when they cast. Good game. And they can reprieve it as well. Alright. Not sure I played that perfectly, but they played it well too. That looks pretty darn good. We would love to see 3 lands instead of 2, but we will go with this. There's our 3rd land. Alright. Let the counter magic begin. There we go. And we can piece it together. Get our 4th land. Awesome. Another Oracle of the Alpha. That one sticks. We will yeah, I don't think we want that thing happening either. Alright. Dimir control goes down. That's a lot of land, but all the critical elements are there for the first 4 turns. Nice to see Faerie Mastermind. If we don't have something to counter, it is there. Looks like we're up against Azorius control, maybe Esper control. Oh, this will be an interesting test. Which do they take? Tati Jin, good choice. Reprieve? Reprieve. Alright. Yep, you can have that. I will try the Mastermind again. I get reprieved again. I think that's fine. Whoops. Demolition Field. Nope, definitely not tapping out now. In turn. Hopeless Nightmare. I don't think we want to... We can let that resolve. What do we want to dump? That resolves. Well, dump the Juggernaut. We've got better cards than that. And pass. They attack. 2 damage. Again. And it lands. Definitely don't want to do Tuinvale. Alright, my turn. We definitely want to hit our land drop. Hopefully we get a land in this. They use the opportunity. And next to combat. End turn. Do we want... I think we negate. All sorts of demolition fields. We can now play the Tolarian Terror. Does that make sense to do? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's take the Seachrome Quest. Do realize that's going to make you shuffle. Yep, take action. And do we toast another one? No. My turn. And now we can play the Terror. Because we can protect it. No, 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 no. And we get a fairy out. Enter. Okay. Oh no, you don't have 3. Fast blockers. No damage. I will untap that. And my turn. Don't really want to put that back in his hand, so, and yeah, draw 5 cards, dump 2, sounds good to me. We will Dump an island. And not a negate. And piece it together. Submit to. Do that. Terror. And finally, you're forced to block. Enter. I think we have them. Got a lot of mana, but we've got a hard counter for anything they put up. Yes, that was solid. All right, thanks for watching to the end. That was a lot of fun. If you want to look at the deck list, it is up on Moxfield. The link is in the description. If you watched this far, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't, and what you would like to see. Today we've got a special treat in that we've got Ixalan coming up, and I have looked through what cards have been spoiled already to see what might work well in this deck. First one is Chart a Course. It's a sorcery. You can draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attacked this turn. So this can cost just a single blue if you've got the Djinn out. And I think it would probably replace Quick Study, which is just draw 2 cards. So you get a discount on it, and the penalty for the discount is not too terrible. The discard is not a huge penalty either, because you may be dumping something into the graveyard that helps out. The next card, Confounding Riddle. This is a different impulse. Looks like it's an uncommon. It's an instant for 2 colorless and a blue. Choose one, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And the other is counter target spell unless its controller pays 4. So that should be a solid thing. We may be able to take out the Spell Stutter and put this one in. That gives us a little bit more flexibility. The Lodestone Needle. This is a 2-sided card. It's a artifact for 1 and a blue with flash, and when it enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it. Then it uses the new craft mechanic, craft with artifact for 2 and a blue. You exile this artifact and another artifact you control or an artifact in your graveyard, then return this card transformed under its owner's control. The other side is Guidestone Compass. It's also an artifact that for 1 and a tap, target creature you control explores. Activate only as a sorcery. And exploring is another new mechanic where you reveal the top card of your library, and if it's a land, you put it into your hand. Otherwise, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and put the card back or put it into your graveyard. So it's got Surveil wrapped up in it. It's got Connive. It's kind of a combination of the 2 of them, which seems pretty fun. So maybe we throw a couple more artifacts in here. Maybe instead of the faeries, we put in like Candy Trail. for another artifact that's intended to go to the graveyard, and that allows us to play the Lodestone Needle as control, and then later transform it to do all sorts of fun stuff. Next possibility, we've got Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel for 1 and blue. It has flash and flying. It's a 2/1. It's a rare. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it, and then draw a card, discard a card. If there are 4 more chorus counters on Malcolm, you may cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. Now, normally, you wouldn't expect this to survive very long, but in our heavy control deck, maybe it would. That's maybe a possibility. I'm looking forward to at least trying it out in this deck. Then we've got a uncommon sorcery, really expensive, for 4 and 2 blue. You create a token that's a copy of a target creature you control. So all your big nasties that you've got out there, at the end of the game, we can copy them. It also has flashback, and the flashback cost is cheaper than the initial casting cost. So you want to surveil this into your graveyard. I'm not quite sure what I would necessarily put in or take out to put this in. Maybe the Horned Loch-Whale. See, but that's an awfully flexible card, so I'm not sure about this one, but I think I will have to give it a try at some point. Then we've got another double-sided card, another artifact, the Waterlogged Hulk, and it taps to mill a card. Another really cool thing to play on turn 1 that you can just start filling your graveyard up to make the terror cheaper and make the Hottie Djinn nastier. And then you can craft with an island for 3 and a blue. Exile an island you control or an island card in your graveyard, which there should be with all this milling. And it flips over to Watertight Gondola. It's a 4/4 vigilance vehicle with crew 1, so one of our lowly little Phyrexian mites can crew this, and it uses the descend mechanic. It's unblockable as long as there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. Lands are permanent. So late game, you flip this over and it's a 4/4 unblockable. So that could be pretty cool. That is a uncommon. Thank you for joining me today. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks in which we will do more decks. We've got an equipment deck coming up. Also using some Wilds of Eldraine Alchemy cards. And we've got more previews. So thanks for joining me today, and until next time, may alchemy magic turn your day to gold.